Today, you're going to improve your English fluency by reading and listening to English at the same time. We're going to read a news article together about the most popular YouTuber, MrBeast. This is the best method to become fluent fast, and I know you're going to love it. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, I'll read the headline. How an AI deepfake ad of MrBeast ended up on TikTok. So here we have MrBeast, the most popular YouTuber if you don't recognize him. And we're talking about an AI deepfake. Of course, AI means artificial intelligence. If you're not familiar with what a deepfake is, I have a very simple definition here. A deepfake is when you use AI, artificial intelligence, to put a person's face on another person's body. So this is not MrBeast. They put his face on this body, but this is not MrBeast in this video, even though it looks like him and it sounds like him too. That's a deepfake. So let's talk first about the grammar of this sentence. You can see this word here, how. So right here, is this a question or is this a statement? What do you think? This is a statement, and we know that because of the sentence structure and the order of the words. The sentence structure for how as a statement, you simply start with how, and then you have a clause, which is simply a sentence. You have a subject, a verb, and most likely an object. Now, we use this a lot at the beginning of a news article, a presentation, a meeting to explain what we're going to talk about or what you're going to learn. So I might say, today you'll learn how I became a teacher. So we have how, and then we have our clause, subject, verb, object. So this isn't a question, it's a statement. Now, what if I wanted to turn this into a question? What would that be? Do you know? Take a second and put it in the comments. What would this be as a question? Here's the question. How did an AI deepfake ad of MrBeast end up on TikTok? So notice I have the auxiliary verb did, and it's in the past simple. Now, because that's in the past simple, my end up, which is in the past simple in the statement form, here it's just in the base verb form because this tells me that it's the past simple. How did an AI deepfake ad of MrBeast end up on TikTok? Now, I don't know the answer. I'm expecting you or someone else to tell me the answer. So here we have a statement. The article is going to explain how it knows the answer. And here we have a question. You want to know the answer. You don't know. Now let's move on and talk about end up. Ended up, because this is an extremely common phrasal verb that you should have in your vocabulary. The phrasal verb to end up has different meanings, but in this context, it's used to state your final destination, decision, or outcome. So the final place of this fake ad, this deep fake, was TikTok. So how did it end up on TikTok? How did the final location for this ad be TikTok? That's what it's asking. So you could say in the comments, I'm so glad I ended up here. Now that means that you've been on YouTube, you've been looking at other videos to help you improve your English, but your final destination is here, this video with me. So you can say, if you think so, I'm so glad I ended up here. Put that in the comments. End up is one of the most common phrasal verbs. Get comfortable using it. I'm so glad I ended up here, and I'm so glad that you ended up here as well. Now, before we move on to the actual article, there's just one more thing I want to explain, and that's right here. You might be a little confused because we have Mr. and we have Beast, but you might be wondering about the punctuation because this isn't correct punctuation in English. So for correct punctuation after Mr. or Mrs., you need a period, and then you need one single space, and then you put whatever the name is. My last name is Forrest because I'm female, and we use Mrs. for female, Mrs. Forrest, MrBeast. So this is incorrect in English punctuation because there is no space. You need one space. This is definitely incorrect because you need a period and one space. But here, MrBeast, this is his YouTube name. You can do whatever you want for your social media name. Social media names and profiles, they don't follow English language rules. But if you're writing a formal letter or any letter and you want to include this, this is the correct punctuation. So just keep that in mind. Before we move on, I'd love to tell you about LingQ, my personal favorite way to learn a language. LingQ is a language app that lets you learn from content you love. The reason why I use LingQ to learn languages and why I recommend you do too is because of the app's focus on input. On LingQ, you have access to thousands of hours of content that includes both audio and text, so you can both read and listen to English. Plus, you can import content directly from YouTube, Netflix, blogs, the news, and much more. For example, you know those news articles that I like to share in my videos? You can easily import them into LingQ and create your own interactive lessons. You'll be able to easily look up words and phrases, track your statistics, and level up your English ability. I first started using LingQ because the platform was co-founded by Steve Kaufman. He's a polyglot who speaks 20 languages. His method focuses on input, lots of reading and lots of listening. And that's why LingQ, the app Steve co-founded, is so effective. It makes reading and listening to content in my target language easier and more enjoyable. LingQ is available on both desktop and mobile, so you can practice your English anytime, anywhere. And LingQ is giving all JForrest English viewers a 35% discount off a 1-year premium plan if you upgrade using my coupon code. You'll also have access to my special LingQ shelf, which includes my favorite English articles and TV shows. I highly recommend LingQ because I know it will help you improve your English quickly and you'll have a lot of fun in the process. So use the link in the description to sign up now. Let's continue with our lesson. Now let's continue on and learn how this AI deepfake of MrBeast ended up on TikTok. AI deepfakes are getting so good that a fraudulent MrBeast ad slipped past TikTok's ad moderation technology and ended up on the platform. So now we already know that this means that they're talking about the fact that the final location of the ad was TikTok. So that's how they're using ended up. Let's talk about fraudulent, just so you know what this means. Fraudulent means both dishonest, so not the truth, dishonest and illegal, against the law. That's why I want to explain what this means, because it's very important that you understand that this is illegal. It's against the law. Listen to my pronunciation. Fraudulent, fraudulent. A fraudulent MrBeast ad slipped past TikTok's ad moderation technology. Let's talk about to slip past. To slip something or someone past something or someone, this is when you do something you shouldn't without being noticed or caught. So in this case, the something is this fraudulent MrBeast ad. And we know that it shouldn't be on TikTok because it's illegal. Now it slipped past. It was able to go through the TikTok ad moderation technology without being noticed or caught. So let's take something that has a lot of security, an airport. You know, you're not supposed to take liquids on an airport. It's almost impossible to slip liquids past airport security. So in this case, the something is liquids, and the something in this case is airport security. Now, remember, we can also use this with people. So I might say, how did you slip past security? If you're not supposed to be in a specific location for whatever reason, but you are in that location and nobody noticed you, then you slipped past security. So that's what it means in this case for the ad. So let's move on and find out how this happened. In the ad, the massively influential creator, of course, this is MrBeast, the massively influential creator appeared to be offering 10,000 viewers an iPhone 15 Pro for just $2. So that's what this ad said. If you're one of the 10,000 lucky people who will get an iPhone 15 Pro for just $2. Massively is a more advanced way of saying very or hugely as an adverb. The massively influential creator appeared to be offering. When you use appeared to be, you're saying that's what it looked like, but you're not 100% sure that it's the reality. So I could say she appeared to be angry after our meeting. Now, by using appeared to be angry, I'm saying, I think so. I think she was angry after the meeting, but I'm not 100% sure. Why? Because I didn't actually ask her. I'm just basing it on appearance, which is where the word appear comes from. She appeared to be angry. So this is very useful when you want to cast some doubt. When you want to say you're not 100% sure, you can say she appeared to be angry. In most cases, this would be a clear indication of a scam. This being, of course, someone offering 10,000 viewers an iPhone 15 Pro for just $2. If you saw this online or if you got an email saying, lucky you get an iPhone for just $2, you would delete that because you would say that's a scam. Now, a clear indication is when you have information that makes you feel that something is a certain way. So the information you have in this case is the fact that an iPhone 15 Pro is way more expensive than $2. So why would anyone give that away? Obviously, this is a scam. So the clear indication is the fact that the price is just so cheap. Here's a great example. The fact that she didn't return your text is a clear indication that she's not into you. Now, if she's not into you, to be into someone, this means she doesn't like you romantically. That's the context that we would use it in. So she didn't return your text. That's a clear indication. So you're letting your friend know that's a sign and there's no misunderstanding it. There's no misinterpreting it. That's a clear sign, a clear indication. Another word for that would simply be proof. That's proof that she's not into you. So that's a clear indication. But coming from MrBeast, it could actually be believable. So because MrBeast does things like this on his YouTube channel, it could be believable and not a scam. MrBeast, the 25-year-old most popular YouTuber. How many subscribers do you think the most popular YouTuber has? Put that in the chat and I will be back with the answer. So I have the answer. It's 202 million subscribers. the most popular YouTuber. Now notice here we have subscribers with an S, of course, because it's plural, but here we have 25-year-old because this is an adjective. It describes how old he is as an adjective. So we don't add the S there because it's an adjective. So just if you're wondering why that is, it's an adjective. MrBeast became famous by creating increasingly absurd stunt videos. Let's talk about this. Increasingly absurd stunt videos. Absurd is an adjective and it means stupid or silly, often used in more of a joking way. So you could describe a movie as absurd if it was funny, but in kind of a stupid way. But we also use it more in just a purely stupid, dumb way, not necessarily funny. So if you say something to someone that sounds really dumb or stupid, for example, I'm going to sell my house for $1. Someone would reply back and say, that's absurd. That's absurd. That's really dumb. That's really stupid. That's absurd. But this is exactly what MrBeast does. Now, that's why we can say it's a stunt video. A stunt is something that's either exciting or dangerous, and it's done usually to attract attention. Action movies, there are a lot of stunts. There's a lot of dangerous scenes, explosions, people jumping off buildings. Those we would call stunts in an action movie. But it can also be something that's just very exciting. To attract attention, of course, MrBeast selling a house for $1, which he has done. Now, in an everyday context, you would, of course, say that's absurd. So if I told you I'm going to delete my YouTube channel, I'm going to stop making YouTube videos, and I'm going to delete every single video that exists now, you could reply back and say, Jennifer, that's absurd. That's absurd. So put that in the comments. If you don't want me to delete my channel and all of these videos, put that's absurd in the comments. And notice I have different emotions here because you could say it and be angry. You could say it and be shocked. You could say it and be sad. So there's different emotions involved when you say that's absurd. So put that in the comments and I won't delete my YouTube channel if you do that. Okay, so he has these absurd stunt videos in which he gives people free homes and cars with no strings attached. If there are no strings attached, it means you don't have to do something in order to get something. So I might say, I'm going to give you this car. And you would say, really? Wow. And then you might say, well, are there any strings attached? And then I might say, well, you have to drive me to work every single day forever because I don't know how to drive, but I have this car. So I'm going to give you the car, but you have to drive me. That would be strings attached. In order to receive something, you actually have to give something or do something. So here he gives away free homes and cars with no strings attached as long as they agree to be in his videos. It's funny that the article used no strings attached because this right here is an example of having strings attached. The fact that they have to do something, be in his video, that is a string. That's a string attached to the offer. So technically, this isn't an example of no strings attached. Okay, let's continue. If you were scrolling TikTok, it could be within the realm of possibility. If something is within the realm of possibility, it simply means it could be possible. It could be possible. It's just a different way of saying a very simple thing. It could be possible that MrBeast would buy 10,000 iPhones to give away. So remember, we're talking about this deepfake ad, but it's a scam. But the offer in the scam for MrBeast is within the realm of possibility. It is possible that he would give you an iPhone for $2 because he does absurd stunts in his videos. So it could be possible within the realm of possibility that MrBeast would buy 10,000 iPhones to give away. After all, he has given away free iPhones to unsuspecting trick-or-treaters. What's a trick-or-treater? Notice the pronunciation here. I don't say trick or treater. Generally, it's trick-or-treater, trick-or-treater, trick-or-treater. Now, a trick-or-treater is someone in North America, at least, on Halloween, October 31st, when you go to someone's house and you're a little kid in a costume and you say trick or treat and you get candy only on October 31st, Halloween. When you go to a house and say trick or treat and you get candy, you are a trick or treater. So imagine you're a little kid, you go up to this house, you say trick or treat, and instead of getting a tiny piece of candy, you get an iPhone. That's what MrBeast did in one of his videos. And they use unsuspecting because the trick-or-treaters did not expect to receive an iPhone. They expected to receive a tiny piece of candy, and then they got an iPhone. That would actually be a very fun YouTube video to watch. I can see why MrBeast is so popular. Let's continue. To be fair, this could explain how the deepfake ad ended up on TikTok. So again, ended up, this is the final place of the ad on TikTok, which uses a mixture of human and AI moderation to review ads. So here, to be fair, because originally it sounds like, well, how did this happen? Why did this fake, illegal, fraudulent ad end up on TikTok? But then to be fair, so they're looking at it from the other perspective. The other perspective is MrBeast gives away free things all the time. So because it's within the realm of possibility, why would TikTok think the ad is fake when MrBeast does that exact same thing in all of his videos? So that's how it's used. To be fair, when you want to consider the other perspective, the other side. So it's a great expression to have in your vocabulary. TikTok removed the ad within a few hours of being posted because it violated TikTok's advertising policies. TikTok doesn't wholly prohibit advertisers from using synthetic or manipulated media. So synthetic or manipulated media, a deep fake is an example of media that's been manipulated, changed in some way. So this is what a deep fake ultimately is. So they're saying TikTok doesn't wholly prohibit. If you wholly prohibit something, it means it's not allowed. 100% of the time, it's not allowed. So this is saying the fact that it was manipulated, that's not the reason why it's not allowed on the platform. It's the fact that it's fraudulent. But the platform requires that advertisers very clearly disclose if they are using this kind of technology. So if you disclose information, it means you make it publicly available. For example, you must disclose your income to the government. So you must tell the government, make it known to the government. So in this case, I said publicly available, but it's absolutely possible that you only disclose something to a specific person or to a specific organization, company, or group. So it doesn't have to be public to everyone. It could be also just to a specific group. And in that case, you disclose something to someone or something. Deceptive deepfakes aren't new. If something is deceptive, it means it makes you believe false information. So the deepfake of MrBeast was deceptive because it made you believe that MrBeast was giving you an iPhone for $2, which was not true. Although that is something he would do. So remember, that's why it was within the realm of possibility. Deceptive deepfakes aren't new, but as AI becomes especially trendy among investors and consumers alike, the technology is becoming easier than ever to access. So if something is especially among a certain group, it means it applies more to them than to other people. So the fact that it's trendy is another word for popular, but it means popular at this moment in time. So AI is trendy among many people, but especially more so for investors and consumers. And now you know how this deepfake, this fraudulent, deceptive deepfake of MrBeast ended up on TikTok. So that's the article. What I'll do now is I'll read the article from start to finish, and this time you can focus on my pronunciation. How an AI deepfake ad of MrBeast ended up on TikTok. AI deepfakes are getting so good that a fraudulent MrBeast ad slipped past TikTok's ad moderation technology and ended up on the platform. In the ad, the massively influential creator appeared to be offering 10,000 viewers an iPhone 15 Pro for just $2. In most cases, this would be a clear indication of a scam, but coming from MrBeast, it could actually be believable. MrBeast, the 25-year-old most popular YouTuber, became famous by creating increasingly absurd stunt videos in which he gives people free homes and cars with no strings attached, as long as they agree to be in his video. If you were scrolling TikTok, it could be within the realm of possibility that MrBeast would buy 10,000 iPhones to give away. After all, he has given away free iPhones to unsuspecting trick-or-treaters. To be fair, this could explain how the deepfake ad ended up on TikTok, which uses a mixture of human and AI moderation to review ads. TikTok removed the ad within a few hours of being posted because it violated TikTok's advertising policies. TikTok doesn't wholly prohibit advertisers from using synthetic or manipulated media, but the platform requires that advertisers very clearly disclose if they are using this kind of technology. Deceptive deepfakes aren't new, but as AI becomes especially trendy among investors and consumers alike, the technology is becoming easier than ever to access. Did you enjoy this lesson? Do you want me to make more lessons where we review news articles together? If you do, then put MrBeast in the comments. Put MrBeast in the comments so I know you want me to keep making lessons just like this. And remember, LingQ is giving you an amazing 35% discount off a 1-year premium plan. I know you'll love using LingQ because it will help you take your fluency to the next level, and you'll have a lot of fun in the process. You can click here to sign up, or you can look in the description for the link.